we're going to have a great interview tonight with another father. So I'm not going to hold my guest any long. His name is Darrin Byrd. I'm going to bring him on, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Minister Darrin Byrd, and I'm very delighted to do this interview tonight with Minister Lionel. I enjoy talking to other men about being fathers, and that's my thing. I feel like I'm a role model to younger men that are here to follow up behind me, and I want to be a good example to them, and that's what I stand out to be in all positions that I stand in my marketplace, my church, everywhere that I go.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, but listen, I got some questions I want to ask you. You mentioned about that you being a barber, okay, and being in the barber business, and especially your location, because you located right across the street from school in our neighborhood, in our community. And by you being able to connect and encounter so many young men from different backgrounds and different ethnicities, what would you say that, especially even other men, older men, what would you say that you would say is the most struggle they encounter today?
I think the most struggle that the men that they encounter, where that comes into my business, a lot of them come from single parent homes, which means there's a lack of a fatherhood there to raise them, because the mother only can give them so much, and it takes a father to pour something to him that's from a man, for him to gain that, to help him go forward and to march on, to be a good father to his children and a good leader in his community. That's one of the number one things that happens in my shop that I see in men.
So you're saying a lot of them come from single parent homes?
Yes, it's they can grow up with some qualities, but the lack of a man being there to teach them certain things, it's kind of like they're out in a big field and they lost their way. They're still trying to find their way. But when they have a path that's misset for them, then they can follow that path easier.
So with what you're saying is that when you agree that it takes a man in order to raise a man?
Of course. That's the way God made it. That's the way He created it. The foundation was first breathed into a man for us to lead. And
True.
and that's what we were created to do. We was here to set a foundation and to create a place for us to be able to operate in. Because from every generation, there's other men to cover each generation. And when those men are not in those positions to cover the generation, that generation kind of falls off. Yeah.
Come on.
The plumbing.
What's happening? You said a mouthful right then.
Yeah.
You said a mouthful right then.
Yeah.
I don't want to get off track though, because
that was something I know.
Hey, but let me ask you another question. You're a father. How many children do you have?
I actually have 4 children.
Okay. And as a father, can you want to share with us the age?
Well, 33. Yeah, I'll be telling my age: 33, 32, 29, and 28.
So you have adults.
All grown.
Yeah. Hey, don't feel bad. Hey, guess what? This is what I learned. No matter how old your children get, no matter how old you get, you're going to always continue to have to parent them. You're going to always still be father to them.
Daily. That's a daily task for us until we leave this planet.
Yeah.
That's the position we carry. But look, it's like we go from level to level in wisdom, and we have to pass that back down.
There you go. That's right. You said something I might tap on a little bit later when you just said. But let me ask you a question. What would you say has been your struggle as a father, and what did you do to correct it?
Oh, well, my struggle as a father, growing up, I didn't know how to be a father. Mm-hmm. I was, like they say, I was a baby daddy. Anybody can be a daddy, but to be a father, you have to have a foundation in you. And that's something that I never had, so I never had a man to teach me that. But now, the first thing I did was I left trying to lead myself, and I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And once I did that, He enlightened me with men around me that had wisdom, And, you know, by being in it's good that you mentioned that in our church, being in the ministry that I am now, I see men like you. I see men like Minister Charles. I see men like Apostle Jonas. I see men that are in my house that are being good fathers. And that's how I learned, you know, because I didn't know how to be a father. I'm actually, tell you the truth, I'm still in a process of learning now, but you never stop learning. And that's one
even after 33 years, huh?
Hey, it takes, you know, it really takes I think a lifetime for us being molded into becoming strong fathers. Because, you know, year by year, day by day, we grow more because we see more. You know, it's more intel we take away from our kids when they act up. When they act up, we have to get into that place to learn how to speak to that thing that they're dealing with, you know? And that's the thing about me, you know, that was my number one struggle. I didn't know how to be a father because no one taught me. And in the beginning of my of becoming a father, I ran from my responsibilities because I had nobody to show me. You know, I come from that place of barely a single mother household where my mom was there sometimes in my life, sometimes she wasn't. That definitely didn't have a father. But when I know, I'm not going to say I think, but I know when I got saved, my wife accepted me back in their lives because I went to God and I asked him, don't give me a new family, Lord. Give me the family I already got. I have children. And he gave me that family back. So I know when he gave me that family and he gave me his son, Jesus, first, I know he set something in me to become a father then.
This is the point you made, though. So far, I heard you say you need wisdom. You didn't have any knowledge as what being a father was about because you didn't have a father, which you answered my next question that I was going to ask you. Okay, and also having God in your life. Okay, and I can tell anybody, listen, man, let me talk directly to the men. You want to succeed, first of all, as a man in your life, you need God.
Amen.
Story. If you want to succeed as a father, you need God. End of story. That's it.
Number one.
That's it. So let me ask you another question. All right, by you not having, I think you may have already answered this question, but by you not having a father in your life, what impact did that have on you, though?
It made me run from my...
A little bit more for it.
Okay, well, it really did. It made me run from my responsibilities because I didn't know how to take the responsibilities on. I never knew, like, see, I think when a father's in a home, he's showing his son a manner of the way to handle a thing, because when he become a father one day, he'll know that it's a responsibility that I got to hold up as a father. I have to work. I have to make sure they have a roof over their head, food on the table. I got to lead them with a certain type of diligence, you know? And when I had my children, I didn't have that. So it was easy for me to walk away because nobody ever taught me. And then I had big brothers who didn't know nothing. I had uncles who wasn't there. So, you know, who never had their father. So that's a generational thing for me. But I tell you this though, Minister Lionel, I broke that curse because when I gave my life to Jesus, that curse was broken on my family.
There you go. There you go.
And that was it right there.
That's good, man. That's good. So we need guidance. I think where a lot of men go wrong at, young men, even when they talk about fathers, that, you know, I got my own theory and how I look at when you talk about moving into fatherhood. I think, first of all, you having a child at 18 as a young man, you don't know anything.
Of course.
Having a child at 21.
Of course.
You having a child at 24, 25, and I'm not saying there's something wrong with it, but you don't know enough. And I think that it's so key, though, that when you're talking about having a child or you bringing a child, being responsible for bringing a child in this world, okay, you got to understand what it is that you're getting into. You got to understand that, hey, listen, you know what? It's no longer about me. It's about this child. It's about the child's mother as well. Yes. And, you know, I think I wish it didn't happen, but it does happen that we have so many parents having children out of wedlock too.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
We got to stop that, okay? Because if she's worth her having your baby, then she ought to be worth you taking her and marrying her and loving her and taking on that responsibility, because guess what? She comes with the package anyway. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah. Could I say something?
Yes, sir.
You know, and that's the thing about me. I made those. I made that kid when I was 18. I was still a kid,
Right.
and then the thing wasn't. It wasn't no one in my corner to show me. So when it's kind of like you was out there by yourself, just out there alone. You know, I did know I had a certain responsibility, but I didn't know how to take on the responsibility. If I don't know if it makes sense, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know how to take on that responsibility. You know, I'm the youngest boy, had the first child.
Wow.
You know, youngest boy had the first child. But I did know I had a sense of responsibility because I joined the armed forces so I could be able to bring finance in for me. But the fact of me bringing finances in, like I did with all my children, I thought because if you give a little finances, you're doing your part. I didn't know how to lead. I never knew how to lead.
That's
That was
good.
taught to me. And that was the part right there. I never knew how to lead. And that was real tough, you know. Because
So,
then, go ahead.
and you're saying a lot of good points, man. You're saying a lot of good points. You know, I had a father, but the thing is that the early years of my life, I would say that at the most critical time in my life, that's when I needed my father. Even though he was there, he wasn't there. Because I've come to the realization that the greatest thing that you can give your child, you mentioned about money, you know, you was doing this, you was doing that. But if you're not there, the money can't give them what your presence can give them, if I can say that like that. So wouldn't you say though, what would you say to other fathers that are out there that may be struggling? What advice would you give them? What words of encouragement would you share with
Well,
them?
well, the first thing I can share with a man that's out there that's lost, first you have to do is find your way. And the best way to find your way is by getting connected to something that's greater than yourself. And you know, I when I got connected to the Lord, that was my open door for me. That would gave me a principles of how to become a father, how to become a leader. And you know, and if you are lost, I think you should surround yourself around men who are living that life that you want to live and learn from them. You know, I'm talking about real fathers, real dads, you know, not baby daddies, not brothers that run away from their responsibilities, but you get connected to a person that has a foundation in their life and you can see that foundation. And it's evident that it's working for them and you can learn from it. You can, you know, in my job, man, I'm a father to some of them. I'm an uncle to some of them. You know, I really guide a lot of young men into being a better father, better husbands, you know, to their wives, you know, learning how to respond to the calling of being a man. Number one, you have to learn how to become a man first before you can do
Right.
anything. You have to become a man before you can do anything. And becoming a man means like getting priorities straight in your life. You have to prioritize yourself. You have to make yourself, put yourself on a level of being a leader, being able to hear, to see, you know, be able to speak correctly. Because if you approach them, if as a father, if you approach your child the wrong way, you can bring a certain wrath on them, which makes them run from you. And that's not what you want to do. Our thing is we want to bring them in so we can mold, fix them, and shape them up to be something great that they was born to be. And that's what I feel. That's what I feel I can tell you, young man. And if you lost, you're out there lost, brother. If you can't find a man, you better turn to Jesus. Because
That's it.
Jesus is the answer. I'm telling you, without Jesus in my life, I have no idea where I would be. I have no idea where I would be. And I'm not just saying for him to be in my life, but to accept him to be my headship of my life. And once I accepted him to be my headship of my life, that's made me a better man. It's made me a better man. And like I say again to you, Minister Lionel, I take my hat off to you, man, because, hey, man, to have a blended family, brother, and to do the work that you do, which I know it could be a fight when we got testosterone, you know, in your household, you know. It pushes your value as a man, you know, but I know it doesn't but make you stronger and stronger because you, as a man, you know how to go to God. So you know how to go to your father to get the information to get back to your children.
Can't do it without them.
You can't do it without, and that's why I say that right now. You know, I lean on Jesus, I lean on the Lord, and I lean on men that's got authority around me, and that's that. I have great men of value around me, especially in my church. You know, I have men like Apostle Jonas, men such as yourself, men like Minister Charles. You know, these men give me great impact. They impact my life, like seriously impact my life, because I watch you and I see you. I see you. I see how you be your father, how you go through the struggles of ups and downs with your family, but you still stay in your position. And that is, to me, man, that's more than enough, brother. You know,
Thank you.
That motivates me, man. I'm telling you.
I got some questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Someone is asking, what kind of relationship do you have with your children now compared to your relationship before you came to Christ?
Oh, wow. You know, let me tell y'all, it wasn't easy when I came back home. It was a wall there. My kids didn't want me. They didn't want me there. And the reason why they didn't want me there because I was bringing change. I was bringing change. I was bringing something that they wasn't used to having. But then I knew that's what they needed more. It was something that was in me that was making them rebel against me. And they needed that. And it was strange to them. And they didn't understand what it was. So what I had to do, I had to learn what it was that it was making them rebel against me. And once I learned that, then I got them like this, where they got me eating at the palm of their hand right now. But you know, my kids love me, they honor me, they respect me. That's one thing I can say. They respect me, and they believe what I tell them is king. My word is bond with them, because they know what I get. It comes from the Father. They watch my life change from a street man into a godly man.
That's good.
And that's that. For the answer, if I answered your question,
so
that was that. Yeah.
So, but okay, when you mentioned about bringing change, bringing correction,
yes,
how did you go about doing that? In what frame of mind, what spirit? You know, you mentioned about we have a testosterone, you know? So you know what we go through.
Yeah, of course. I got it like my oldest boy. He came back home from Atlanta the first time. And when he came back home, he must have moving back home to get a job. So I was going to work and I come home for lunch. But every day I come home for lunch, he's sitting in the living room. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna have to, I got it. I went back to work. I said, now I got to go get him. Because I say, as a father, if I give him strong love right now, he'll respect me more than if I go in there all soft with him. But I went and I say, hey, no man want to come home and see another man in this house still sitting around eating cereal in the middle of the afternoon. I say, now, you move back here to Miami, and you're gonna get you a job. He said, no, that's what I've been doing. I've been online all day. I said, no, you're gonna get up, you're gonna put some clothes on, you're gonna go down there, you're gonna let the people see your face.
Right.
But they can see who you are. I said, because there are a million people that's applying for the same job and doing it the way you do it. I said, we do things different around here. We get up and we go to them so they can see us. He got a little mad with me, went to his mom. He don't want me here, he wants me out. He don't want me to be here. But I came in that room, I said, I never told you to leave here, son. Yeah. I said, whatever thing I told you, because you will not be like your cousin. You will not be sitting around the house at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. While me and your mama paying bills, you're gonna be out getting your own. I said, you came back here to get your life straight. And I said, that's what you're gonna do. And, you know, and I won him over. And I know I did that day because he know I love him. Mm-hmm. And I love him even more now. So
listen, there's another question here. Mm-hmm. Is that what were some of the challenges you faced when you went back to your family and stepped into the accepted role of being a father? I think you might have kind of answered that already.
No, but I got, like, you know, my boys were easier than the girls. That's the thing. My youngest daughter, we had some knockdown, drag outs. You know, it got really that serious. But guess what? It's because I knew that her fight was stronger. She heard it worse than all the other ones heard it. Okay. So and I knew that what it was. It was, we had to go to that route for us to get to love each other. But when she really realized that I was there for her and not against her, now you couldn't tell her nothing wrong about her dad.
So, but when you agree, though, there has to be a balance of discipline and love.
Of course.
You're raising, you're bringing correction to your
That's what it says. That's what we taught. The Bible teaches that. No, the rod of correction. That's part of training them up in the way that they should go. No, I got to be the authority figure. It's only two authority figures on my own.
Uh-huh.
That's my wife and myself. And that's it. Everything after that, you being taught, you being molded. You're the mold, you're being molded into it's what God tells us to let you be. And then, it's a fight because they fall off. We have to help them stand back up.
Mm-hmm.
Then they might stumble again. We stand them back up. But eventually, we're going to have to stop standing them up. They'll be able to stand on their own.
That's true. That's true.
And what makes us feel great inside, knowing that my work is not in vain.
Right.
There's no goodness without a struggle.
What would you say to them who don't have, who desire to have their husband more involved, more engaged in the church with God, with the family, with them, leading, taking that leading role position? They going up and not watching their wife go to church, but they go to church with their wives. They're leading their wife to the church house. They're leading their children, their family to God, before God. What would you say to them?
I deal with it. I deal with it already at my job. A lot of I cut women hair too, and they say, Mr. Green, I wish I had a husband that could be like you want to be. I said, well, bring him to me. That's the first thing I tell them. I said, bring him to me, and let me build a relationship with them first. Let them get to know that I'm not judging them, and let them be around me for a while. Once they be around me for a while, like they always do, they usually do this. They're come by themselves. I say, what the missus at? Oh, now I want to talk to you today. And the first thing they'll say, man, I want to know, how can I get what you got? Like, how did you manage to get like that? They said, because I watch you. You go from the streets into God. And I watch you for the last 13 years to be on fire for him. How did you do that? I told him first, number one, I surrendered. You have to surrender. And the only way you're going to get to be the thing that your wife wants you to be, you have to surrender to yourself. Surrender to the things that are holding you away. You got to get away from the fear part, because there's a fear that's blocking the men. We have men. We have pride. Pride. We don't want no woman telling us what to do and how to live our lives. But what men really need to know is that God has given us that woman as our helpmate.
Absolutely.
And and they go back to their vows. There's a vows in the Bible that said that we honor that. It says in Ephesians that a husband had to give his life for his wife, like Jesus did, like Christ did for the church. So we have to give our life for them, so that they can see that, because they're looking for that leadership. A woman tired of leading in the household.
Come on.
A woman shouldn't be leading the household doing your job. And that's the thing I have to tell men. He said, well, I go to work. I said, no, but you're not leading. Going to work and coming home paying the bills is not leading. See, when you lead, you set an example. You set the trail for them to follow. And once you set and you pave the way, they'll follow that. It's a good way. And that's all a woman really wants from a man, is to hear her heart and lead him and lead her and lead that family like he's supposed to. Many men are still failing because many men are not sure of their calling in their household. It's a hard thing to say, being a man, but a lot of men don't know their calling. They don't know their responsibilities in the house. It's more than.
I mean to cut you off, but would you say again, because they did not have a good example?
Of course, it could be that. Or it could be they didn't have a good example, or they just don't want to change their ways. Because I know a lot of them say, well, my father was there for us. But but I got out here, man, it's like, she's trying to rule me. And I'm like, no, she's not ruling. She's not trying to rule. She's trying to get you to hear her. She's trying to get you to hear her heart and how she think, and what she knows what you should be telling what's best for the family. But she's showing you this the model for the family. And this what's going to make our life easier if you just stand up in the thing and do what you're supposed to do.
So you say basically most women, they know what they want, but they want their man to give it to them.
That's of course.
To step up and be in that role, be in that place, take responsibility.
But real men don't know. See, but these men don't know that God created them as in His image, and that's the thing you have to teach them about God in His image. I deal with a brother for maybe 3 or 4 years now, He been coming to me, coming. So a couple of weeks ago, he pulled me to the side. He said, I'm glad we're here by ourselves. He said, I think I want what you got. And I said, what's that? I want your Jesus.
Wow.
This is a man that's not saved.
Wow.
He didn't believe in Jesus. Don't want to hear nothing about Jesus. But he said, I sat here and I watched you for the last 3 years. And he said, you know what? I love it because you're not trying to be holy than thou. I love it because I see that you have a balance, that you are a man of God, and you're not judgmental. He said, you never judged me now time I came in. He said, everything you ever did was tell me how to do something. You always say what God say do. And he said, well, you know, I was taking footnotes in my mind. And I was putting on footnotes in my mind. I was watching you to see what those qualities there that you telling me are in you. And he said, the more he saw him, he said, now I want your Jesus. My testimony, one day I get a chance to share with him how the motivation of my wife pushing me has made me a better father, has made me a better husband, has made me a better man. So I know for a fact, without Jesus and my wife, I wouldn't be who I am today.
It's good.